that after holy tie and first night stir, yet still is modesty and still retains more of the maid to sight than husband's pains. We pray our play may be so, for I am sure it has a noble breeder and a pure. They learned, and a poet never went more famous yet twixt Poe and Silver Trent. Chaucer of all admired the story gives, there constant to eternity it lives. If we let fall the nobleness of this, and the first sound of this child here be a hiss, how will it shake the bones of that good man, and make him cry from underground, "Oh, fan from me the witless chaff of such a writer that blasts my bays and my famed works, makes lighter than Robin Hood." This is the fear we bring, for to say truth, it were an endless thing, and too ambitious to aspire to him. Weak as we are, and almost breathless swim in this deep water. Do but hold out your helping hands, and we shall tack about, and something do to save us. You shall hear scenes, though below his art may yet appear, worth 2 hours' travail. To his bones, sweet sleep, content to you, if this play do not keep a little dull time from us. We perceive our losses fall so thick we must needs leave. Act 1. Scene 1. Enter Hymen with a torch burning, a boy in a white robe before, singing, and strewing flowers after Hymen, a nymph, encompassed in her tresses, bearing a wheaten garland, then Theseus between 2 other nymphs, with wheaten chaplets in their heads, then Hippolyta the bride, led by Pirithous, and another holding a garland over her head, her tresses likewise hanging after her, Amelia holding up her train, Artesius and attendants. Music. The song by the boy. Roses their sharp spines be gone, not royal in their smells alone, but in their hue maiden pinks of odor faint. Daisies smell less, yet most quaint, and sweet time true, primrose, firstborn child of air, merry springtime's harbinger, with her bells dim, ox lips in their candles growing, marigolds on deathbeds blowing, lark's heels trim. All dear nature's children sweet lie before bride and bridegroom's feet, blessing their scents, not an angel of the air, bird melodious or bird fair, is absent hence. The crow, the slanderous cuckoo, nor the boding raven, nor chaw-four, nor chattering pie may on our bride house perch or sing, or with them any discord bring, but from it fly. Enter 3 queens, in black with veils stained with imperial crowns. The first queen falls down at the foot of Theseus, the second falls down at the foot of Hippolyta, the third before Amelia. For pity's sake and true gentilities, hear and respect me. For your mother's sake, and as you wish your womb may thrive with fair ones, hear and respect me. Now for the love of him whom Jove hath marked the honor of your bed, and for the sake of clear virginity, be advocate for us and our distresses. This good deed shall raise you out of the book of trespasses. All you are set down there. Sad lady, rise. Stand up. No knees to me. What women I may stead that is distressed does bind me to her. What's your request? Deliver you for all. We are 3 queens whose sovereigns fell before the wrath of cruel Creon, who endured the beaks of ravens, talents of the kites, and pecks of crows in the foul fields of Thebes. He will not suffer us to bum their bones, to earn their ashes, nor to take the offence of mortal loathsomeness from the blessed eye of holy Phoebus, but infects the winds with stench of our slain lords. O pity, Duke, thou purger of the earth, draw thy feared sword that does good turns to the world. Give us the bones of our dead kings, that we may chapel them. And of thy boundless goodness take some note, that for our crowned heads we have no roof, save this which is the lions and the bears, and vault to everything. Pray you kneel not. I was transported with your speech, and suffered your knees to wrong themselves. I have heard the fortunes of your dead lords, which gives me such lamenting as wakes my vengeance and revenge for 'em. King Capaneus was your lord. The day that he should marry you, at such a season as now it is with me, I met your groom by Mars's altar. You were that time fair, not Juno's mantle fairer than your tresses, nor in more bounty spread her. Your wheaten wreath was then nor threshed nor blasted. Fortune at you dimpled her cheek with smiles. Hercules, our kinsman, then weaker than your eyes, laid by his club, he tumbled down upon his Nemean hide, and swore his sinews thawed. O grief and time, fearful consumers, you will devour all. Oh, I hope some God hath put his mercy in your manhood, whereto he'll infuse power, and press you forth, our undertaker. Oh, no knees, none widow, unto the helmeted Bellona use them, and pray for me, your soldier, troubled I am. Honored Hippolyta, most dreaded Amazonian, that hast slain the scythe-tusked boar, that with thy arm as strong as it is white wast near to make the male to thy sex captive, but that this thy lord, born to uphold creation, in that honor first nature styled it in, shrunk thee into the bound thou wast overflowing, at once subduing thy force and thy affection. Soldieress, that equally canst poise sternness with pity, whom now I know hast much more power on him than ever he had on thee, who owest his strength, and his love too, who is a servant for the tenor of thy speech. Dear glass of ladies, bid him that we, whom flaming war doth scorch, under the shadow of his sword may cool us. Require him he advance it over our heads. Speak it in a woman's key, like such a woman as any of us three. Weep ere you fail. Lend us a knee, but touch the ground for us no longer time than a dove's motion when the head's plucked off. Tell him, if he in the blood-sized field lay swollen, showing the sun his teeth, grinning at the moon, what you would do. Poor lady, say no more. I had as lief trace this good action with you, as that whereto I am going, and never yet went I so willing way. My lord is taken heart deep with your distress. Let him consider, I'll speak anon. Oh, my petition was set down in ice, which by hot grief uncandied melts into drops, so sorrow wanting form is pressed with deeper matter. Pray stand up, your grief is written in your cheek. Oh, woe, you cannot read it there through my tears, like wrinkled pebbles in a glassy stream. You may behold 'em, lady, lady, alack! He that will all the treasure know of the earth must know the centre too. He that will fish for my least minnow, let him lead his line to catch one at my heart. Oh, pardon me, extremity that sharpens sundry wits, makes me a fool. Pray you say nothing, pray you, who cannot feel nor see the rain, being in it, knows neither wet nor dry. If that you were the ground piece of some painter, I would buy you to instruct me against a capital grief indeed. Such heart-pierced demonstration! But alas, being a natural sister of our sex, Your sorrow beats so ardently upon me that it shall make a counter reflect against my brother's heart, and warm it to some pity, though it were made of stone. Pray have good comfort. Forward to the temple! Leave not out a jot of the sacred ceremony. Oh, this celebration will long last and be more costly than your suppliant's war. Remember that your fame knolls in the ear of the world. What you do quickly is not done rashly. Your first thought is more than others' labored meditance. You're premeditating more than their actions. But, oh Jove, your actions, soon as they move, as asprays do the fish, subdue before they touch. Think, dear Duke, think what beds our slain kings have. What griefs are beds that our dear lords have none? None fit for the dead, those that with cords, knives, drams, precipitants, weary of this world's light, have to themselves been death's most horrid agents. Humane grace affords them dust and shadow. But our lords lie blistering before the visitating sun, and were good kings when living. It is true, and I will give you comfort, to give your dead lords graves, the which to do must make some work with Creon. And that work presents itself to the doing. Now 'twill take form, the heats are gone tomorrow, then bootless toil must recompense itself with its own sweat. Now he's secure, not dreams we stand before your puissance, wrenching our holy begging in our eyes to make petition clear. Now you may take him drunk with his victory, and his army full of bread and sloth. Artesius, that best knowest how to draw out, fit to this enterprise, the primest for this proceeding, and the number to carry such a business forth and levy our worthiest instruments, whilst we dispatch this grand act of our life, this daring deed of fate in wedlock. Duagers, take hands, let us be widowers to our woes. Delay commends us to a famishing hope. Farewell. We come unseasonably, but when could grief call forth, as unpanged judgment can, fittest time for best solicitation? Why, good ladies, this is a service whereto I am going. Greater than any war it more imports me than all the actions that I have foregone, or futurely can cope. The more proclaiming our suit shall be neglected, when her arms, able to lock Jove from a synod, shall by warranting moonlight corslet thee. Oh, when her twining cherries shall their sweetness fall upon thy tasteful lips, what wilt thou think of rotten kings or blubbered queens? What care for what thou feelest not, what thou feelest being able to make Mars spurn his drum? Oh, if thou couch but one night with her, every hour in it will take hostage of thee for 100, and thou shalt remember nothing more than what that blankets bids thee to. Though much unlike you should be so transported, as much sorry I should be such a suitor, yet I think did I not by the abstaining of my joy, which breeds a deeper longing, cure their surfeit, that craves a present medicine, I should pluck all ladies' scandals on me. Therefore, sir, as I shall here make trial of my prayers, either presuming them to have some force, or sentencing for their vigour dumb, prorogue this business we are going about, and hang your shield afore your heart, about that neck which is my fee, and which I freely lend to do these poor queens service. Oh, help now, our cause cries for your knee. If you grant not my sister her petition in that force, with that celerity and nature which she makes it in, from henceforth I'll not dare to ask you anything, nor be so hardy ever to take a husband. Pray stand up. I am entreating of myself to do that which you kneel to have me. Pythiros, lead on the bride. Get you and pray the gods for success and return. Omit not anything in the pretended celebration. Queens, follow your soldier. As before, hence you, and at the banks of Aulis meet us with the forces you can raise, where we shall find the moiety of a number for a business more bigger looked. Since that our theme is haste, I stamp this kiss upon thy current lip. Sweet, keep it as my token, set you forward, for I will see you gone. Farewell, my beauteous sister, Pirithous, keep the feast full, bate not an hour on it. Sir, I'll follow you at heels, the feast's solemnity shall want till your return. Cousin, I charge you, budge not from Athens. We shall be returning ere you can end this feast, of which I pray you make no abatement. Once more, farewell all. Thus dost thou still make good the tongue of the world, and earnest a deity equal with Mars, if not above him, for thou, being but mortal, makest affections bend to god-like honors, they themselves, some say, grown under such a mastery. As we are men, thus should we do, being sensually subdued, we lose our human title. Good cheer, ladies, now turn we towards your comforts. Scene 2, enter Palamon and Arcite. Arcite. Dear Palamon, dearer in love than blood, and our prime cousin, yet unhardened in the crimes of nature, let us leave the city Thebes and the temptings in it before we further sully our gloss of youth. And here to keep in abstinence we shame as in incontinence, for not to swim in the aid of the current were almost to sink, at least to frustrate striving, and to follow the common stream. 'Twould bring us to an eddy where we should turn or drown, if labor through our gain but life and weakness. Your advice is cried up with example. What strange ruins, since first we went to school, may we perceive, walking in Thebes, scars and bare weeds, the gain of the martialist, who did propound to his bold ends honor and golden ingots, which though he won he had not, and now flirted by peace, for whom he fought, who then shall offer to Mars's so scorned altar? I do bleed when such I meet, and wish great Juno would resume her ancient fit of jealousy, to get the soldier work, that peace might purge for her repletion, and retain anew her charitable heart, now hard and harsher than strife or war could be. Are you not out? Meet you no ruin but the soldier in the cranks and turns of Thebes? You did begin as you met decays of many kinds. Perceive you none that do arouse your pity, but the unconsidered soldier? Yes, I pity decays wherever I find 'em, but such most that sweating in an honorable toil are paid with ice to cool 'em. 'Tis not this I did begin to speak of. This is virtue of no respect in Thebes. I spake of Thebes, how dangerous, if we will keep our honors. It is for our residing, where every evil hath a good color, where every seeming good's a certain evil, where not to be even jump as they are, here were to be strangers, and such things to be mere monsters. 'Tis in our power, unless we fear that apes can tutor us, to be masters of our manners. What need I affect another's gait, which is not catching where there is faith, or to be found upon another's way of speech, when by mine own I may be reasonably conceived, saved too? Speaking it truly, why am I bound by any generous bonding to follow him follows his tailor, haply so long until the followed make pursuit? Or let me know why mine own barber is unblessed, with him my poor chin too, for 'tis not scissored just to such a favourite's glass. What cannon is there that does command my rapier from my hip, to dangle it in my hand, or to go tiptoe before the street be foul? Either I am the fore-horse in the team, or I am none that draw in the sequin trace. These poor slight sores need not a plant in, that which wraps my bosom almost to the heart. Our uncle Creon, he a most unbounded tyrant, whose successes makes heaven unfeared, and villainy assured beyond its power there's nothing, almost puts faith in a fever, and deifies a lone voluble chance, who only attributes the faculties of other instruments to his own nerves and act, commands men service, and what they win in it, boot and glory, one that fears not to do harm, good dares not. Let the blood of mine that sieve to him be sucked from me with leeches. Let them break the fall off me with that corruption. Clear-spirited cousin, let's leave his court, that we may nothing share of his loud infamy. For our milk will relish of the pasture, and we must be vile or disobedient, not his kinsmen in blood unless in quality. Nothing truer. I think the echoes of his shames have deafed the ears of heavenly justice. Widows' cries descend again into their throats, and have not due audience of the gods. Valerius! The king calls for you, yet be leaden-footed, till his great rage be off him. Phoebus, when he broke his whipstock and exclaimed against the horses of the sun, but whispered to the loudness of his fury. Small winds shake him, but what's the matter? Theseus, who where he threats appalls, hath sent deadly defiance to him, and pronounces ruin to Thebes, who is at hand to seal the promise of his wrath. Let him approach, but that we fear the gods in him, he brings not a jot of terror to us. Yet what man thirds his own worth, the case is each of ours. When that his actions dragged with mind assured, 'tis bad he goes about. Leave that unreasoned, our services stand now for Thebes, not Creon. Yet to be neutral to him were dishonor, rebellious to oppose. Therefore we must with him stand to the mercy of our fate, who hath bounded our last minute. So we must. Is it said this war's afoot, or it shall be on fail of some condition? 'Tis in motion. The intelligence of state came in the instant with the defier. Let's to the king, who were he a quarter carrier of that honor which his enemy come in, the blood we venture should be as for our health, which were not spent, rather laid out for purchase. But alas, our hands advance before our hearts. What will the fall of the stroke do damage? Let the event that never-erring arbitrator tell us, when we know all ourselves, and let us follow the becking of our chance. Scene 3. Enter Pirithous, Hippolyta, Amelia. No further! Sir, farewell! Repeat my wishes to our great lord, of whose success I dare not make any timorous question. Yet I wish him excess and overflow of power, and it might be to dure ill-dealing fortune. Speed to him. Store never hurts good governors. Though I know his ocean needs not my poor drops, yet they must yield their tribute there. My precious maid, those best affections that the heavens infuse, in their best-tempered pieces keep enthroned in your dear heart. Thanks, sir, remember me to our all-royal brother, for whose speed the great Bellona I'll solicit. And since our terrene state petitions are not without gifts understood, I'll offer to her what I shall be advised she likes. Our hearts are in his army, in his tent, in his bosom. We have been soldiers, and we cannot weep when our friends don their helms, or put to sea, or tell of babes broached on the lance, or women that have sawed their infants in, and after eat them, the brine they wept at killing him. Then if you stay to see of us such spinsters, we should hold you here forever. Peace be to you, as I pursue this war, which shall be then beyond further requiring. How his longing follows his friend, since his depart his sports, though craving seriousness and skill, passed slightly his careless execution, where nor gain made him regard, or loss consider, but playing over business in his hand, another directing in his head, his mind nurse equal to these so differing twins. Have you observed him since our great Lord departed? With much labor, and I did love him for it. They too have cabined in many as dangerous as poor a corner, peril and want contending. They have skiffed torrents whose roaring tyranny and power in the least of these was dreadful, and they have fought out together where death's self was lodged, yet fate hath brought them off. They're not of love tied, weaved, entangled with so true, so long, and with a finger of so deep a cunning, may be outworn, never undone. I think Theseus cannot be umpire to himself, cleaving his conscience into twain, and doing each side like justice, which he loves best. Doubtless there is a best, and reason has no manners to say it is not you. I was acquainted once with a time when I enjoyed a playfellow. You were at wars when she, the grave enriched, who made too proud the bed, took leave of the moon, which then looked pale at parting, when our count was each 11. 'Twas Flavina. Yes, you talk of Pirithous and Theseus's love. Theirs has more ground. It is more maturely seasoned, more buckled with strong judgment, and there needs the one of the other may be said to water their intertangled roots of love. But I and she I sigh and spoke of were things innocent, loved for we did, and like the elements that know not what nor why, yet do affect rare issues by their operance. Our souls did so to one another. What she liked was then of me approved, what not condemned. No more arraignment, the flower that I would pluck and put between my breasts. Oh, then, but beginning to swell about the blossom, she would long till she had such another, and commit it to the like innocent cradle, where phoenix-like they died in perfume. On my head no toy but was her pattern, her affections pretty, though happily her careless wear I followed for my most serious decking. Had mine ear stolen some new air, or at adventure hummed one from musical coinage, why, it was a note whereon her spirits would sojourn, rather dwell on and sing it in her slumbers. This rehearsal, which every innocent wots well, comes in like old importment's bastard, has this end, that the true love tween maid and maid may be more than in sex dividual. Ye are out of breath, and this high-speeded pace is but to say that you shall never, like the maid Flavina, love any that's called man. I am sure I shall not. Now, alack, weak sister, I must no more believe in thee this point, though in it I know thou dost believe thyself, than I will trust a sickly appetite, that loathes even as it longs. But sure, my sister, if I were ripe for your persuasion, you have said enough to shake me from the arm of the all-noble Theseus, for whose fortunes I will now in and kneel, with great assurance that we, more than his Pirithous, possess the high throne in his heart. I am not against your faith, yet I continue mine. Scene 4. Cornets, a battle struck within, then a retreat, flourish, then enter Theseus, victor with his lords. The three queens meet him and fall on their faces before him. To thee no star be dark, both heaven and earth friend thee forever. All the good that may be wished upon thy head, I cry amen to it. The impartial gods, who from the mounted heavens view us their mortal herd, behold who err, and in their time chastise. Go and find out the bones of your dead lords, and honor them with treble ceremony. Rather than a gap should be in their dear rights, we would supply it. But those we will depute which shall invest you in your dignities, and even each thing our haste does leave imperfect. So adieu, and heaven's good eyes look on you. What are those? Men of great quality, as may be judged by their appointment. Some of Thebes have told they are sisters' children, nephews to the king. By the helm of Mars I saw them in the war, like to a pair of lions smeared with prey, make lanes in troops aghast. I fixed my note constantly on them, for they were a mark worth a god's view. What was it that prisoner told me when I inquired their names? With leave, they're called Arcite and Palamon. 'Tis right, those, they are not dead, nor in a state of life. Had they been taken when their last hurts were given, 'twas possible they might have been recovered. Yet they breathe and have the name of men. Then like men use 'em. The very lees of such millions of rates exceed the wine of others. All our surgeons convent in their behoof, our richest balms, rather than niggard waste. Their lives concern us much more than Thebes is worth. Rather than have 'em freed of this plight, and in their mourning state, sound and at liberty, I would 'em dead. But 40,000-fold we had rather have 'em prisoners to us than death. Bear 'em speedily from our kind heir to them unkind, and minister what man to man may do, for our sake more, since I have known fright's fury, friends' behests, love's provocations, zeal a mistress's task, desire of liberty, a fever, madness, have set a mark which nature could not reach to, without some imposition, sickness in will, over-wrastling strength and reason. For our love and great Apollo's mercy, all our best, their best skill tender, lead into the city, where, having bound things scattered, we will post to Athens for our army. Scene 5. Music, enter the queens with the hearses of their knights in a funeral solemnity, etc. Song. Urns and odors bring away, vapors, sighs darken the day. Our dole more deadly looks than dying, bombs and gums, and heavy cheers, sacred vials filled with tears, and clamors through the wild air flying. Come all sad and solemn shows that are quick-eyed pleasure's foes. We convent not else but woes, we convent not else but woes, etc. This funeral path brings to your household's grave joy seize on you again, peace sleep with him. And this to yours this way. Heavens lend 1,000 differing ways to one sure end. This world's a city full of straying streets, and death's the marketplace where each one meets. End of Act 1 of the Two Noble Kinsmen. Amen. Praise to God, Jesus Christ, Jah Rastafari the Most High. Bless William Shakespeare and John Fletcher.